Good evening, and thank you for joining us at the regular meeting of the Shelton School Board. This is July 14th, and we will call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll have Sally, since she has the flag, she can lead it.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the
and to the
republic
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sally. All righty, have members of the board had a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
Have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I move that we adopt the agenda for July 14th, 2020.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as published. All those in favor? Well, is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All righty, we have an agenda. So at this point in time, we come to the part of the meeting that allows for community comments. Bob, can you tell, do we have anyone with that would like to speak at this first opportunity?
We have no comments in the school board public comment mailbox at this time.
Okay. There is a second opportunity for the public to comment. So if someone comes in later on during the meeting, they can join us during that session as well. All righty. So we'll move on to reports and recognitions. On our big report tonight is on our bond projects. We get this monthly from Jeff Feeney. So let's see what's up.
Thank you, Sandy. Good evening, board. Bob, can I grab the screen?
You certainly can.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to pull up something and then see if we can share this, and we'll start off with a little humor. This picture is to finally put to end one of the myths of Shelton, and that is, and Sally and Carrie and a few others, Brenda, we finally found the car buried at the football field. And we hit it and found it. And here are some pictures of it, just for your knowledge. And here's, this is down on the south end of the field near the scoreboard. Here's part of what looks like, I don't know what that is, but bits and pieces that came out. Here's a pile of junk. This is the infamous car we've been looking for how many years? There's the scoreboard, by the way, going in. This picture, I think, is kind of funny. Can you see this? This is the speedometer.
Wow.
So now you've put that myth to rest. That car that's been buried and chased for years has been found and has been removed. So just something for the board's knowledge.
You would never know that was a car.
Yeah. Right.
Other than the speedometer.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop and I'm going to go back and I'm going to get another one here. Let me come up with this one, and we'll talk about the D2 package, which is all the work at the mini dome, and quickly go through this. What you can see is this is looking from the south back towards the mini dome, and you can see the framing for the new weight room and wrestling room is going up. The next picture is kind of the northeast looking back to the southwest. As you can see what's being framed on the outside, it's moving right along. So D2 is moving quite fast. Now I'll take you on the inside. This is back in the areas where we're adding and doing all the locker room work, plus all the weight rooms and wrestling rooms. Everything is beginning to take shape. You'll see that they're working on the utilities and starting to putting in plumbing into the locker rooms. And it's just moving at an incredible pace. I will tell you at the end, there is a glitch to this project, which is going so well. Also is the pool. What you can see is the bottom has all been done, the concrete. We're getting ready to put in the scoring system and do the new gutters, as you can see. So everything is moving very fast and very well on D2. The glitch is that we are having potentially a delay in getting the brick for the exterior. That could delay finishing the building. And we don't know how far. We're still working on it. But that's the first glitch we've hit on D2 is getting brick. And that's simply because the masons were closed down for a long time because of the virus. So that's D2, just as an update. It's moving. I'll pick up here. D3, which is doing the tracks in the football field. The one thing you'll notice here is the track is gone and the grass is gone. And so that it's probably been 1973, Brenda, since we've last seen it in this condition. So what you see along the inside rim of the track is part of the drainage system where we're putting in new drains. This picture shows how that's going in. So there's a perimeter drain, the water will drain to the inside of the track and then be carried away between the football field and the track. So you see that that's moving along. We've had very good luck with the soil we've hit on there. What you're seeing here is they're actually removing stockpiled good subgrade materials because we thought we might hit some unusable soils like we did on the baseball field, but we did not. So all of that material could have been hauled away. We didn't have to use it just in a few little spots. So that was a good thing that happened. Dave, you were out there. This is the backfill that'll go in when we hit subgrade and start building the field back up in preparation for putting down the turfed fields.
Yep.
I did want to say, Dave, did they remove the light poles? Do you
Well,
know?
that's scheduled for this week. I don't
This
think
week?
we've done it
Okay.
yet.
Okay. At the end of this week, I couldn't remember if we were going to get to it this week. The light poles will be coming down. The only one we're going to have difficulty with is the one with the Osprey, but we'll get it down and get going. And then I think it's about 2 weeks, they'll put in the base for the new lights. So that's moving along. So that's the status of D1 and 2. The other question that's out there, and Robert, we've been trying to get pricing on solving some of the last remaining drainage problems at the mini dome and at the bus lane. We are working on pricing, and right now the pricing is extraordinarily high. So we're working on that with the contractor to see if we can get it down. As soon as we can get something that's reasonable or that we believe is reasonable, we'll get it to the board and see if we can get that work done also. So with that, that's the status of D1 and D2, excuse me, D1, the baseball and softball field. We literally accepted that work as completed today. That's the final letter. So the D1 is done. Now, we do have to do a little fencing and change the netting over by the tennis courts, but we're doing that under the D3 package. So the D1 package is closed and we're moving on and focusing on getting the rest done. Questions?
Questions or comments from board members?
No questions. questions. I think it looks great. And I was hoping that maybe some of those select pictures that you just showed us could actually be shared on social media as well. So more of the public can see some of the progress that's going on, if that's possible.
We can do that. You have all of the pictures that you see that I've brought to you are in the reports you get every week at the
Yes.
back of the reports. So if anything else, we can send you. I don't know if you want to send it. What's the best thing to send it to you? Who understands your website? PDFs or?
It's Katie. I see her on here, but
Okay. Well, let me know, Brenda,
I
what
will.
format you want it, and we can get. We'll just take these pictures from the last report and put it on there if you want.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll email her.
It's great just seeing the progress of the pool and, you know, the track. And I know there's a lot of people in the community that care a lot about each step and feel quite a tie to the school and have played on those fields and would like to just, or played in the pool or the weight room, wrestling room. They would love to see the progress there. So I think that would be wonderful to share that out if we could.
Yes, so we can do it. Just Brenda, just tell us how you want us to send them to you.
And maybe since school closed before we actually got the baseball fields done, we should send you some of those too.
Yes.
Yeah,
We'll make
those,
sure Katie gets that to you.
yeah, those did get shared out a little bit, but I think that
Oh,
the
good.
more we can share all of that, the better, because we have, you know, no one has been on campus as much as they usually would be, or there were not the public events that typically occur to see some of this happening. And people just in general may not be getting out and about as much. So I would love to be able to show them the progress that's still going on.
Okay.
We'll
We can.
make sure that happens.
We probably have hundreds and hundreds of pictures, and you just tell us how many you want. And we'll pick out. You know, if you want 20, we'll pick out a good 20 or whatever you want.
I'll email Katie right now and then I'll get back to you.
Okay.
I'm just amazed at how you've been able to continue and get this work done. I know it's been a lot. Like you said, there's glitches with brick and different things, suppliers, and really appreciate everybody staying on top of it and making the. I mean, to me, this is extraordinary to keep on the project right along and meeting our deadlines and this one thing in the district that's come on, we're going along. So yeah, Carrie, we want to share this.
Yes, and good news about the soil on the
Excellent.
football field, the soccer field. I
Yep.
mean, that's wonderful news, because I know we were anticipating that might be an issue and that
Yes.
might even increase costs. So
Yep.
I'm very happy to hear that.
That was a very nice surprise. We also did some additional testing for infiltration for the water that goes down through the soils to carry away. And we actually got better results than we originally had in the soils report. So we were very, very happy. And just when that popped into my head, I also have a question for Robert or David or Brent. I need to get a copy of the infiltration testing that MTC did on the football field.
I'd like to get a copy too.
Okay. So I don't know who has it, or has anybody seen it? Well, we'll have to grab MTC and see if we can get that.
Yeah, we'll get it from MTC.
Okay. Because
I don't think they've published it yet. I know that Dave Anderson, our sports field guy, he witnessed it, but I don't know if they've written the report yet.
Well, the soils engineer is asking for a copy, so that's one of the reasons I'm asking for it also. And to respond to your comment, and I forgot who made it, but I think it was Sally. We were very lucky that we got really good contractors that bid the D packages. They have taken the virus situation seriously. They have been very dutiful in trying to protect their workers and everybody else on site. every day, everybody that comes on site gets their temperature taken, gets signed in so that we can do tracing, whatever it is. They've worked hard with their subs to get products delivered. And so we got very lucky that we have the people on site that we have working on this project. We could have gotten a lot worse and going from there. So that's good. And I think if I remember, we've only had one worker go home one day. Robert's saying something, but he's muted there. Wasn't it one day?
I'm not familiar with that. There was
I
never
can't-
one.
I thought that there was one day that somebody had a mild temperature, but it was not there the next day or something. But anyway, so it's been extremely good. We've had no instances, no delays, no quarantines through all of this on the site. So it's gone as well as it can go. And Shelton School District, it really should be thankful. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, an absolute lot worse.
It's very good news. And going back to the Osprey and the light poles, I know there are people that are very concerned about the Osprey nest and whatnot. So what are the special precautions that'll be utilized in erecting the new pole there?
We will not touch the nest until it's vacated. That's the law. And even if it delays the project, we won't be able to do anything until they freely go on their own. One thing we'll do is we'll delay that one light pole. But once we can verify that they've vacated, then we can go ahead and then take down the pole.
Yeah. So we can put up the new ones and we can take down 7 of the old ones, but we will have to wait until the bird decides to go wherever he goes in the summer or the winter. I guess he moves in the summer, doesn't he, Robert?
We actually haven't had them stay this late before, so we're kind of surprised we've made it too comfortable for them this year, I suppose.
Maybe they have their own COVID-19 quarantine.
Yeah, got quarantined.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Just a comment, I would just like to echo what Sally Brownfield indicated. Tremendous oversight and tremendous effort to put us in the position that we're in today with everything that's going on in the world. I'm pretty amazed at the progress and that we're moving along, as you've mentioned, Jeff. So Thank you very much.
And we're still tracking fairly well on schedule. Like I said, is everything is pretty much there except for the brick issue. And so we're just trying to work it as best we can. And those drainage issues we've been trying to resolve, it's really about money. And we're trying to get the best pricing we can get. And we'll see as soon as we can put that number on the table for you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate the update. And
okay, and if there's no other
great job well done, and only one hitch so far. That's pretty good. I think Alex had his hand up. Did you have
I don't want to delay the proceedings, but I do have a question. Jeff, what about Bordeaux, the gymnasium?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. Yes. We completed the punch list last week. The gymnasium is effectively 90, let's call it 98% done. They're touching up, there's ceiling tiles that have to go in. There's some plumbing that has to be installed, and I'm talking about fixtures. Some wiring and alarms that have to be connected. The court is done, the baskets are in, the siding is on, the roofing is done. The canopy, the play area is done. The landscaping is done, the trees are in. And so we're effectively now working on finishing up all the items on the punch list. And we hope to get that done just as soon as possible, the things. But It's probably approaching substantial completion as soon as the architect releases the punch list.
Okay.
So just to
very good.
clarify what Jeff said, when he said that the punch list is complete, he's saying that preparing the punch list item
Correct.
list is complete, not
Yes.
actually performing.
Not the work. Yeah. So we've got a list. They're putting together a list of all the items that have to be done. There's some siting issues. There's there's always little things that we find, and we're getting those all put together and having the contractor clean up the last of the stuff. But it is done, and I'm sorry. If you have a second, I can find those pictures, but I don't want to delay your meeting. But I can get you a few pictures if you want them, Alex.
Whatever Sandy and the board, that's up to them.
I'm game.
Let me see if I can grab them real quick.
Okay.
All right, hold on.
While Jeff's working on that, I'm going to add one more thing to what he's been saying about these D packages, and that is that in some other districts, we've had issues with our contractors pushing some of the costs of COVID-related expenses to the client. And we've worked really well with these contractors here, and we've avoided any cost to the project. And it's really been helpful because they can pile up. Some districts have incurred hundreds of thousands of dollars on their projects. And we're fortunate to be able to say we didn't down here. Glad to be able to say that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, how are we doing there, Jeff?
Just one second. I'm just into the files trying to get this thing out.
So
Okay.
while he's looking for that, refresh my memory. How deep will the pool be now?
I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head, to be honest, Sandy.
All righty.
I think the depth actually varies a little bit. But at its highest point, I believe it's basically 5.5 feet. It's whatever depth was needed in order to have the competitions. And so that's the target depth that we were shooting for, to basically save on excavation and make sure we only had to go as far down as needed.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
Well, I'm not being, for some reason, I can't get this file to transfer, so I don't know why.
Oh,
But let me
That's
try
okay.
one more time.
we'll get more of those pictures when we get the other pictures, and we'll push those out onto social media as well. In
Yeah,
the meantime, while you're looking, we could go ahead and approve the consent agenda.
okay.
Perhaps you'll have the pictures by then, and if not, we appreciate your effort and we won't keep you any longer. So we'll ask if board members have had a chance to review the consent agenda. And do we have a motion? To approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda for July 14th, 2020.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? These are all very routine items, minutes, personnel report, and warrants. So hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we've concluded that bit of business, and it looks like we have pictures.
We have a
Bordeaux
picture
up.
too. Let me go back and I'll see if I can, these are just the last pictures, but here is the start of the connection from the old building at the end of the kitchen, the walkway that comes over to the gym. You see a couple of trim pieces that have to go on and some siding that's still going on. This is under the walkway or the play area. The new play area, all paved, striped, everything in. The alterations to the canopy that we had built. You can see the sprinklers and everything in there. This is going around the side of the building as you're looking back towards the main Bordeaux school on the, basically on the northeast side. Those steps go down to the portables. You can see the, what I'll call the north side, the new siding that's on. You can see the brick that's on. This red brick, which is similar to what's on the mini dome and everything, is what we're looking for to keep that same look on some of these buildings. But you can see the grass is in, the plants are in. This is the east elevation, the windows at the end of the gym. At the very left of the picture, we're backing into the backside of the kitchen and going along. And this is the changes that have been made as we come across here. We took out one portable and did some adjustments. The one portable is right in here. So that was done. There's the trees we had to add for the city that are in. And I think that's just kind of the outside. Let me go back very quickly, see if I have the pictures of the inside of the gym. Where are they? They didn't get in this file. Anyway, the inside of the gym, the floors are done, the baskets are in, and the bleachers are in the inside of the gym. And so it's moving right along. But that's the Bordeaux project. It's stuff like this that we have to get cleaned up and fixed. These are things that go on the punch list. And as we go along, that's that spot we were just looking at up close. We have to move some of the, there's a couple of valves, fire things that have to be removed. They're right in about head high for the kids. They have to be raised. That's about the biggest thing that has to be done. All of this storefront, we're just waiting to get the glass in. It's all framed, just put the pieces in. So that is Bordeaux.
All right.
Paul, apologies for showing you the imperfection list versus what we normally show is with the the nicer features of the building. This is designed for a punch list. So
Yeah. So
Thank you.
that's a little bit of Bordeaux. I will get some better pictures of Bordeaux, especially on the inside, and include it with the pictures, Brenda, so you have it all.
I sent you the information I need, so.
I saw that. All right, if nothing else, I will head out and say thank you and see you next month.
Other last minute questions or comments? All righty. Thank you very much, Jeff. We appreciate it as
Thank you,
always.
Jeff.
See you next month.
Yeah.
Take care. All righty. That moves us on to item number 6, discussion and action items. And we're going to have Brenda to share a little bit about the school district budget direction.
Okay, good evening. I'm finally pleased to say 30 minutes before this meeting started, I pushed a budget to the ESD. It's been a long, hard process. I ran into a little interesting glitch last night. I was ready to push it out to them last night and discovered OSPI had a different levy calculation. ESD had a different levy calculation. The spreadsheet that OSPI provides had a different levy calculation. So I pulled it back and I emailed ESD and said, okay, which one am I supposed to use? There's 3 different numbers. So we finally got that resolved about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And so I did another extract. And so I have finally pushed it through to see what they have to say about it. They'll start reviewing. I do still have to do the 4-year budget, which is a requirement. So I'm working on that tomorrow for them. That shouldn't take too long. I went into it a few minutes ago to look at it. So we'll push that through. As your direction, we did implement a 10% reduction within the budget. We're also budgeting very conservatively on enrollment with 4,125. That gives us about a 270 FTE from where we left in March. So that we're hoping gives us a cushion. I'm going to be putting together the real details of it, and I'll be sharing that with you in our study session Wednesday or Thursday to go through all the changes that were made on revenue side, expenditure side. As you know, we're down on food service revenue. So that was an item I reduced in the new budget because we probably won't be serving as many lunches again as we are now too. So, but I will start putting those pieces together so I can share more in detail with you exactly what changed in the whole thing. So Alex, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, you know, the only thing I had a meeting, I was with other superintendents, with Superintendent Reichdahl and State Board member Randy Spalding. And basically what I was hearing is that we're going to be okay as far as funding is concerned. It's not for sure, but that's what we've been hearing for the last probably 90 days, that we're pretty secure in terms of basic ed funding. So I will say that what Brenda has been involved with has been very complex because of the number of variables that are unknown at this time. And working with the school board over the past few months, meeting every week on Thursdays, taking a look at various scenarios. I believe that we've done our work. And so we're hoping for the best, but if we have to plan for something less than that, we are prepared to move forward.
Thank you very much. Questions or comments from board members? Okay. Again, Brenda, we appreciate it. Thank you for catching that levy difference, that difference in levy calculations. Out of curiosity, was it a significant difference?
There was $100,000 variable. Unfortunately, the one that was the winner was the lowest number. So I was hoping for the bigger one, but it didn't work.
Well, again, it's a you know, a good catch to have before you submitted the document as it was. So yeah. Appreciate your watchful eye on that, and all the things you had to juggle to make this particular budget able to be submitted. I know we were running different scenarios right up until the end, so appreciate that.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments from anybody? All righty. We'll move on to a discussion on the MET Academy, the Met Academy. I think.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alex will do that.
You know, right along with the great progress that we're making on our athletic complex, we are continuing to move ahead to construct an academy that focuses on 21st century learning. We are using the money that we're receiving from our partner school districts to make this happen. I don't want to get into this too deeply because we have a great presentation by a number of people that will talk about our progress at this point in time. But with the board's support and approval, I believe by the fall of 2021, or maybe a little later than that, this will be a reality. So on that, I would like to introduce Dina Alley, Don Wielander, our architects, Marianne Marshall, Brenda, and Robert, who will probably share in the presentation. Dina, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I'm just really going to introduce David, who's going to show us the latest drawing, the latest plan for the Met building, and then we'll talk about programming. Don and I will talk about programming a little bit, and we'll circle back around to how all of this is happening.
Okay, Dina, let's do that. Let's bring in our lead architect, Brent Compton.
Hi.
and AC, and he'll walk us through what the architecture plan looks like at this point.
Okay, so I'm putting up, if you can see the site plan. Can you guys see it?
Now we can.
Okay, so we are going with, of course, placing this in the current faculty lot. And what you see in the orange square is the first step into an ultimate build out for the MET Academy. And so it's a core plus that will also have restrooms that'll be sized for the ultimate expansion, plus some mechanical, electrical, and some support spaces for that. And the idea is that to the right of the building of the core plus, we would be expanding, that would be eastward with future shops. And we don't know exactly what those will be yet, but the idea is that we'll continue to expand that way for future shops. And then to the left or westward, those would be more technical classroom buildings, robotics, or whatever technology that's coming down the road. So the first step of and also in order to accommodate parking that we still need for staff, we're going to be developing a new parking lot to the west of the P1 and P2 portables and west of the 400 building, creating another lot. We don't have an exact count yet, what we're going to need, but we're trying to make sure that we'll have enough spots for the full staffing at the school. And so the floor plan, and I'll try to expand this, enlarge this a little bit so you can see it better. So the down on the page, that is towards the school. And the idea is that we would have an entry vestibule on the south side of the building that you would go through to get to the core plus. And this is important, so down the road when we expand to either direction, east or west, the kids will still have access to the restrooms without interfering with any stuff that may be going on in the core plus shop area. This would include overhead doors that are going to have large glazed lights in them so that we can get a lot of daylight in there. Plus we'll have lighting along the north wall, and then entry doors on the north and both east and west sides, so that we will have plenty of exiting and access to get in for service and the like. We'll also have a mechanical, electrical, and storage spaces built into the floor plan as well. And then we have a couple of images that we sketched up. So this would be the side that's looking towards the campus, and create a little plaza that's coming down from the campus, and this would be the entry. We still have to work out details of canopies and the like for protection of entry doors and the like. And we figured that we'd have the same kind of similar signage that we've been putting on some of the other buildings, like we do for the Wildcat Ox Gym and the
High Climber
and stuff. Yep. Or the Wildcat, excuse me. High Climber Gym. And this is the other side looking back towards the campus. And the idea is that we will have a simple shed structure. It's going to be industrial looking. And we will, as we expand it, it'll just be like an extrusion, if you will, that goes to the east and the west, and continue the same sort of pattern of fenestration and overhead doors and the like that would allow for some flexibility and some moving of materials in and out for the shops and for any of the specialty spaces that we're talking about. So are there any questions?
Well, one of the features of these overhead doors, and the folks that made it with us up to, not Bellingham, Bremerton, saw was that these overhead doors serve as kind of a second purpose, not just moving equipment in and out of the building, but they also allow some of the work that the kids are doing to be done outside when weather permits. They were actually working out on the concrete areas outside, which is really kind of a neat feature of the whole thing. When you're doing some of the little robot units that they're using and things like that. It's fascinating to see it. So as this moves along, you'll see more of that.
Another architectural feature that I'd like to point out is you notice in this elevation that the high windows are facing north, and the northern light allows natural diffused light, which is the best type of task light, especially when you're working, with anything that's creative or where you're working with details. Whereas if we reverse this and put those big windows to the south, we would of course get some energy savings, a little bit of energy savings in the winter, but we would have direct harsh light, which creates lots of shadow effects and things like that, which are harder to work with when you're working with dials and computer screens and things like that. And so this orientation really, really is very helpful for the type of working in a shop and lab type of environment. This will allow a lot of natural light in, which will supplement, of course, the additional lighting, task lighting that we'll put throughout the building for those times when it's gray, like we have very frequently during the winter.
David or Brent, one of the things that I was concerned about, and I think some other people were too, is how this would blend in with the current architecture, especially the new building. How would that blend in together?
Right now, we haven't really selected a color scheme for the exterior yet. We'd want to go over that with you guys. We used the shed roof as something that we do have on the new addition, some shed roofs there. And so we're trying to sort of marry this new structure in with that as well. So we would want to use similar color patterns and similar volumes to sort of link those two buildings together as part of the campus.
And High Climber Gym as well. I mean, that'll fold into it. I would call it a composite of all of the new work that's been done. So
yeah. Well, that's good that you're thinking about that.
Absolutely.
Forward. Yeah.
Anyway, colors are very subjective. The aesthetic is very subjective, and we want to make sure we get that right so that it does look like part of the campus.
Okay.
So Brent, if you are all done, I'm going to show everybody kind of what the schedule looks like. If I can take this.
Guys, stop sharing.
Let me see if I can get a hold of the screen here. Well, maybe I can, maybe I can't.
You got Jeff's computer?
Well, that's where it seemed to go. I don't know how. Let me try to open these up from up here. I do not know why that did that.
I see it now, but it's very small.
Yeah, well, I'll get you
there. We go.
Never fear, I'll get you there. Okay, so, all right, can everybody see that? You should be seeing the timeline. Okay, good. So Alex mentioned a little bit about the timeline and the big gold star on the right there. Maybe some of you have your cameras over the top of it, but we kind of started this back in January and really started talking about the concept at that point. Now we're into July, that's the today arrow. And so we've kind of gone through the concept development, and now we are full into design. And working along with Brent and NAC Architecture, part of my responsibility is to bring along all the other consultants that have to get their work done, partly for Brent to be able to get his things done, things like survey, geotechnical investigations, things like that. That's my job to get done. So I'm getting those ready for Brent. And we want to get this design all closed out before the Christmas break happens, the winter break happens, so we can get in line down at the city. We want to get there early so we can get into the early bidding season just after the first of the year. The earlier we can get in there in that February, March window, the better chance of a really good bid you get. And we're trying to squeeze every dollar we can into the construction rather than into a contractor's pocket. So we want to be getting ready to go, getting ready to hit the ground with construction in March. So by the end of September, we've got a project that is what we want to call substantially complete. And we've been talking with Dina some about what it might look like in that first term in the fall. And depending on exactly where we get into on the completion schedule of this, we may take that first term to get that equipment into that Core Plus facility, get that equipment started up, get it configured, get the teacher all set up so he or she has his program all set up for the kids to actually come in and start on the second term and actually begin the instruction on the second term. So that's kind of our ideal goal, but outside chance we get this done and ready for the first term as well, but we'll see how that goes. It's a push. It's a real push. This is a push schedule, but we've got the right team to get this done. So all these folks that we're working with to get this to this bid date, we've all worked with before. And we expect to see the contractors that you're used to seeing that have been doing this good work already as well down in your area. So we expect a good project here.
Thank you.
I also have information on the budget, but I think Brenda's going to cover most of that. Brenda, if you want me to put the budget up on the screen when you get to that part of it, I'll be glad to do that.
So Dina, do you want to talk program before we do that?
I'd love to talk program before
Okay,
we talk
let's do
money.
that.
It's all good news though, so we're good. So David, if you'll release your screen and I'll talk a little bit about programming. So remember, if you'll know that this was our discussion about Core Plus. So this was our discussion about our mechatronics, our electronics. So I'm going to show you some pictures. Please know these are just representative. This is a bid process for the equipment as well. So we're just showing you some representative ideas of what this might look like. And so you should be able to see the fluid power picture on the screen.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so what will be in this facility are the things that go to the things that both our local employers and students who are heading off into jobs right away, to community college, to engineering particularly. These are the things that they'll be learning about. So that fluid power is what you talk about when you talk about hydraulics and pneumatics. And we may have things about electrical systems, and we'll have things about electronics. But what you notice about these representative pictures is that they're all station work. So there will be multiple stations, multiple copies of these stations where students can learn about all these different systems and really do actual hands-on work with the theories that they're learning. So we're very carefully designing this with our local employers. They'll be involved in where and how all of this equipment fits into the building. And they are the ones that are helping us go through and saying, these are the systems that we need students to know, whether they're coming straight to us or whether they're heading on to college. And so we are very, very excited about that. You'll notice that we took the other classroom space out of the building. That is because we have another plan. We're not losing programming. We have another plan that we'll be coming back to you with around our cybersecurity, computer programming ideas. And so know that that programming is not lost. It is just moved to another area, and we have another plan that we'll be back to you with that does not involve the building. So Don, will you take a minute and talk about the conversations that you've had with our community partners, please?
Yeah, when we talk to community partners and we let them know what we're doing as far as this program goes, we're looking at the pneumatics, hydraulics, full electrical program, as Dina said, robotics, drones, rigging, engineering. So we have a vast majority of options for the students Our community partners that I've talked to have been very excited about getting something of this nature going. So we can, provide the students that want to go directly into the workforce opportunities to go into the local workforce. Could be Green Diamond, could be Sierra Pacific, it could be any number of companies around here. The nice thing about the whole design here is it's going to provide our students with IRCs, which are industry recognized certifications. Right out of high school, they're going to be able to accomplish this. And with the passage of House Bill 1599 last year, it provided additional graduation pathways to our students. So this CTE pathway with these IRCs are going to be another opportunity for our students to graduate, and also another help to us as far as our goal of 100% graduation. So it's a win-win situation for the community and for the students.
Yeah, and Don, I'm so glad that you mentioned that part about the graduation pathway, because as you know from us talking about academies, we designed all of our academies so that every single pathway meets that graduation pathway option. And so this is just another example of students will have another way when they complete this pathway, they'll have met that graduation pathway option. So Brenda, do you want to take it away and talk about the budget?
Okay, so I'm going to tag team with David. David, you want to bring up your budget, and I'm going to let you explain your budget, and then I'm going to explain how the money's going to flow in to cover your budget.
I'll try to bring up my budget, but it may be Jeff's. We'll see. But hopefully, I think we've got it here. So, yeah, I'm going to make this real quick. So what we've done is we have taken this and put this into a format that you've seen for virtually all of your projects, where we develop a MAC, and a MAC is it's kind of a misnomer in this particular project, because that's really a multiple award basis construction contract, which we probably won't really be doing here, but it serves as getting kind of down to the bottom line of what the construction costs are on a comparative basis for what's included down to that line of construction. So as Brent mentioned, up here at the very beginning, we've got the basic layout of what the building is, which is a 3,400 square foot building.
David,
Can't see your budget.
Your screen's not.
Gotta share.
Oh, well, that's a secret. We didn't want to give out too much information. I'm sorry. We didn't want to give out all that information. Why can I not?
I have it in front of me, but that won't help us.
Okay, well, all right, let's try this again. Let me share my screen. Sorry about that.
There it comes.
Are you getting it? You got it now?
Not yet.
There it is. Yep.
Well, that's what I get for paying attention to Jeff at the first of the meeting. Huh? Well, now I lost it again. All right.
Okay.
View. I'm close. Now, please tell me I still have it.
You still have it.
Yes. Technology. I need a Met Academy to train. So real quick, since I've just wasted another 5 minutes of your time, the Met building, 3,400 square feet. Our basic square foot cost is $410. So the very base cost of the building is about 1.4 million. Brent mentioned the parking. That's a good chunk of money here. You do have a parking shortage. We've noticed that at the high school many times, and it hasn't gotten any better. So the base construction total, just pure construction, about $2 million. Whoops. By the time we add in all the ancillary costs, the total MAC that I was talking about gets us down to about 2.5 million. And then when we get down to adding all of the indirect costs in that are associated, the district paid costs, the architect fees, the city's cut, bid costs, and general other costs, including furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Everything all added up comes to just under about $4 million for this first phase of the project. And right now, Brenda's going to talk about this next number here that is kind of a floating number that she has complete control over. And I don't know if Don wanted to come back and talk about how the furniture, fixtures, and equipment is all going to kind of work, because that's in his camp. But that is what kind of comprises our budget right now. Is we've got about $4 million project and about a $5.5 million revenue stream. So Brenda, all yours.
Okay. So as you know, we are collecting payments for our high school project from our non-high districts, Southside, Hood Canal, and Pioneer. They come in twice a year. June 1st and December 1st are the two timings that they pay us. So that is roughly $1.1 million every time they make a payment. So the first payment I just got in June is helping to take care of the D2 overage and then possibly some weight room equipment. We're not quite sure on that. So we should have a little bit of money left in that payment to help assist with this project. So as we move forward, what I did, I took their timeline, NACS timeline that they put together, and I plugged in our dates when I do receive the money. So we will get 2 full payments within their time frame. So we won't quite have the dollar amount that they need, but typically you have a closeout period too. So we would get another payment probably in that last closeout period. So we're going to be very close to having all the money just coming in to cover this whole thing straightforward. In the worst case scenario, I would say that we potentially might have to go out to the state local, which we've done before through the state treasurer and got that low interest loan using this money as a guarantee. We wouldn't need very much if we need to do it at all. But what I'll do is just continue to monitor it as we go through and see how we're looking. And I'll have those dates that I know I have to apply with the state and come back to you if that is the option we need to take. But at this point in time, I think we should be okay to just collect that money and continue paying the bills towards the new Med Academy. So, and Dawn, do you want to share? You have some ideas on some of the fixtures in there that we might be able to get assistance.
Yeah, I think on some of that, we're going to be going out for iGrants. There's a lot of grants that we're able to get from Boeing Core Plus program also provides a huge grant every year. So we're going to be able to take in probably get, I would say, at least half of it through grants. And we will probably look at our business partners and talk to them and see exactly what they want also. And see if they want to partner with us on certain things. But grants are going to be very important. We'll start writing a lot of grants for it once we get the building going.
What I might add something very quickly here, that one of the benefits of honing down and scaffolding this project is that it would give us probably a little over $1 million to develop another program on another piece of property that we're very close to moving forward on. And so we would not only construct the Med Academy, but at the same time, we're hoping to develop, of course, the new high school, along with a pure construction academy on another piece of property. So that would give us possibly $1 million to do some of that work, which is very enticing to the people that own this other property. So it's kind of moving forward on 2 fronts.
Brenda, I thought maybe since we've talked about the budget direction just a couple of items ago, it might be good to emphasize for people that aren't familiar with the pots of money. You know, on one hand, we're talking about a budget cut, but on the other hand, here we're talking about, you know, $4 million and another $1 million. And people may be wondering, what's the left and what are the left hands and right hands doing?
Okay, good point. I live it day in, day out, so I don't think about that a lot of times. So The budget we talked about earlier in the meeting is actually our day-to-day operating budget that is funded from the state, federal government, local levy dollars. So that pays our bills every day, the power, the lights, our employees, which is 86% of our budget. What we're talking about for the Met Academy and all of our other projects that you heard Jeff Feeney talk about earlier is the bond that we passed in 2017. That was $65 million. And because we passed that bond, we received $19.5 million in state match from the state on those projects to use. We're using it for the Bordeaux gym, for the addition to the mini dome, and for all the athletic complexes. So in that process, we negotiated, Alex negotiated with the 3 non-high districts because their students come to our high school. So we took the new Building A project with the new classrooms and negotiated a dollar amount for them to pay to help support Shelton High School and a continuation of growth. And so that is coming in at about $6.5 million total over all of the payments. And that strictly has to be used at Shelton High School for additional capital projects of building and building improvements. You can't use it for anything else. So all bond, all state match, and all the non-high capital payments can only be used for construction and building improvements. So that's your difference.
And it can be spent and allocated to the high school program in general.
Right, high school, it doesn't have to be, yeah, high school, 9-12 kids, yeah.
Not necessarily just to Shelton High School,
Right.
but to Choice and Cedar High School, our new high school program that we're trying to get off the ground here. So basically, that was a great question, great comment, because we are not going out to the public for any money in terms of this particular project. It's strictly based on the fact we passed the bond, and the contribution of our non-highs is making this happen.
Thank you for clarifying that for.
Thank you for asking the question or making the comment.
Any other questions or comments from board members?
I'm just excited about this project. Sandy, you and I both went as board members to go see a building like this over there in Kitsap County, and just the functionality of the building, all of the different programs that can be put into place there. I do love the fact that you've got big doors where people can do the robotics or the drones outside. I just really think that it's going to be another wonderful addition to our high school. So I'm very excited to see this opportunity for our students and what that can also do with partnerships in our community with businesses that they can directly affect. I think it's going to be just another wonderful addition up there.
Thank you, Carrie. I just want to add that one of the next steps is to truly involve the community, our business leaders, our corporations in the planning of the building even, and in addition, being involved in program development. So collaboration at the highest level with our community is going to be of paramount importance as we move towards this academy.
And thanks for the clarification on which way the windows were facing, Robert. I kept looking at that thinking, sure looks like it would be north, but why? So that
Lighting is very important to me.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Anything else from board members? Okay, we greatly appreciate David and Brent and Dina and Don for the presentation there. And looks like we can go ahead and close that conversation out and move on.
And I want to thank Galen for he put together all the graphics for us. So.
Thank you.
Thank you too, Galen. All righty. All righty, so we can move on to item 6.03, proposed revision to the 2020-2021 school district calendar.
Do you want me to jump right in, Alex?
Sure, go ahead, Linda.
Okay. I had to move to a different room. I lost you 3 times because my iPad overheated. So here I am in the house. So in January, you approved a school calendar for 2021. And since then, with COVID, OSPI recommends that school districts add some additional days in the calendar. Additional days meaning makeup days, I should say, not additional to 180, but add some makeup days. So the calendar in January 28th, 2020 that you approved, we already had 5 snow makeup days that were scheduled for June 14th through 18th, with the last day of school being June 11th. What we're proposing to you for the revision is that we add 5 other days as makeup days, and those 5 other days would be the following week, which would be June 21st through 25th. So we would essentially, instead of having 5 makeup days at the end of the calendar, we would have 10. And so that's what we're bringing to you today. The unions, per contract language, they provide input into the calendar. So they've done that. We've discussed it pretty thoroughly as to where to put those makeup days. And then it's also been discussed with cabinet and all of the administrators. So we are bringing it to you now for approval.
I move that we extend our calendar for adding these additional days to the end of our school calendar.
A second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or questions?
I just
All
have a
right.
comment, if I may.
Certainly.
I just want to let the board know that this is where we are as of the 14th of July in terms of the calendar. Like some other things we've talked about, this may not be the last time we talk about the calendar. So I just wanted to mention that to you. I'm hoping that this works, but there's no guarantees at this time that it will work. We have to monitor things very closely, and if there's a change, of course, we'll come right back to you. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? All righty, hearing none, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the proposed revision to the school year 2021 calendar, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty, calendar is approved with 5 additional makeup days on top of 5 snow makeup days.
Right.
All righty, that brings us to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Sandy. I would like to speak a little bit about our school district plan to reopen schools. And before I get into a little detail, I just want to thank all of the subcommittee leaders and participants on the various subcommittees for their involvement and continued support of the process. They've done a tremendous job considering everything that's happening right now with the pandemic. And I just appreciate their continued work and support. Tomorrow, July 15th, we're unveiling the Shelton School District reopening plan. That's when it's due to me. And we're going to have on the 16th of July, we're going to have a kind of a dress rehearsal where the subcommittees will report their findings. And I think that's going to be very interesting. And that's basically phase 1, the work that the subcommittees have done. Phase 2, that will take place for the remainder of July and throughout August, and even beyond that, will be for our principals and their leadership teams to come together, reviewing the school district plan and fine-tuning their building plan based on the direction that the school district is going. So that's going to be a very important piece. So you got phase 1 where we've come up with the overall plan. Phase 2 is where the principals will work with their staff and their leadership teams to make sure that everything is in order prior to the start of the school year. So I'm very excited to hear about the plans. I've got bits and pieces along the way, but in our dress rehearsal, where we're going to basically have every subcommittee report, I'm thinking we're going to have a great plan. It's not going to solve all the issues that are before us, but it will be a good start. And we will be constantly in the process of refining and adapting the plan based on the circumstances and situations that are before us. In my meeting with Superintendent Reichdahl today, I was one of quite a few superintendents, and Randy Spalding from the state board was also there. I can kind of give you a real summary of where we're heading. The superintendent of public instruction indicated there is no change in the reopening of our schools in the fall. He asked us basically to continue to move forward with our plans. And that he emphasized that's as of today. The school board must pass a resolution approving of the reopening of school plan. And that template is coming from WASDA, and it should come out Wednesday or Thursday. And so we need to be prepared for that because it has to be officially approved by the school board. They also mentioned that there is no doubt that we need to have a very robust online program, and that the state legislature has indicated they want it to be much better than what we had in the spring. So the instructional program needs to be, again, better than it's ever been in the past in terms of remote learning. The other thing that they mentioned that I think is very important, and we're going to be sharing with staff and our committees, is that attendance monitoring is going to be very important. And so we need to develop systems, whether it's online or face-to-face, that monitors attendance. They also indicated that we need to meet, and this is state law, the 180-day requirement regarding the number of days in the school year and the 1,027 hours of instruction. And they said there's going to be some flexibility there so that we can count the online learning and face-to-face learning that's taking place, but they're holding strong on those two issues, 180 days of school and 1,027 hours of instruction. So the message that I received was very clear. There's going to be some leniency, there's going to be collaboration, there's going to be some give and take, but the things that I've mentioned to you in terms of the number of school days, attendance, having a robust online program that meets the needs of all students, and face-to-face instruction that is of the highest quality, there was no negotiating on that one. And that's, again, as of today. And I'm sure that's the direction we're heading. The other thing that Superintendent Reichdahl mentioned is that there is a little turmoil going on based on the fact that our president has indicated that school will start, and that the WEA and the Seattle School District, the teachers, are basically saying that we're not going to come to school. And that's what they're saying as of today. And so that's something that we need to keep our eye on. We're working very closely with our union representation, and we're very fortunate here. Linda Arnold and Brenda over the years have built a tremendous trust and respectful relationship with our union, and that continues on. And in my opinion, that's going to be very influential as we move towards these uncharted waters. Having the cooperation of the unions and our people is going to make all the difference in the world. The other thing that was mentioned, and we've talked about this, is the health and safety of our staff and our students and our families. That needs to continue to be a priority one issue. And so the social, emotional, and mental health of our students, our families, our staff, that needs to be right up in front as we move forward. So we have a lot to do, but I have all the confidence in the world in our people that we're going to give it everything we have for the benefit of our students and families. And I think the number of people that have been involved on our subcommittees is an indication that we want to win. And we're going to win this challenge that's before us. But when you have over 200 people involved on subcommittees and they come to the meetings, that's pretty impressive under any and all circumstances. So a lot is happening. We still don't know about the budget. I think Brenda mentioned that they're telling us that we're going to be okay. And that was mentioned again, that we're going to be okay as far as basic ed. And we're just hoping that that's what happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much for
You bet.
that report. Lots going on, like always.
Yeah.
At this point in time, we come to the second opportunity for community comments. Do we have anyone in the queue? Do we have Bob on hand? Has he turned controls over to anyone else?
There we go. Sorry. I had to select the screen. We have no comments in the board.
And no emails either.
Correct.
Okay, all righty. We will move on to board member comments then. Who'd like to go first? Okay, I'll take Sally Brownfield. I nominated you to go first for board reports.
Okay. It's just, I guess, ongoing situation with all of the COVID things. So I work in with WASDA's meeting this Friday. I'm giving them a presentation on for the equity committee for 45 minutes. But everything from, we're looking at school reopening. So I'm working on that. I'm working on reopening out here at Squaxin Island for the Child Development Center, seeing what other people are doing in other places. And everything's a moving target. Everything's a moving target. I'm on the board for Region 16 Comprehensive Center, which is Oregon, Washington, and Alaska, and doing, everybody's working so hard in every area. And I know there's a lot of frustration. I hear a lot of anxiety with some parents and students. But at the same time, everybody's pushing so hard to go forward and to make things work. And so we're going to make it. We're going to get there, because that's what it takes, is everybody working together. And we just do the best we can and keep those goals in sight and know we're doing this for the best that we can for our kids. So.
Thank you very much. Carrie, would you like to go next?
Sure. And I agree with Sally. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of different plans made. And as we keep doing that, we have to just keep reassessing and reevaluating as we get new information as we go. And as long as we keep our students at the forefront of that, and our families and our staff, our teachers, well-being and all of this, if we keep that at the forefront, I think, as we make these plans, we will get through this together and we'll figure it out, because we have a lot of great people doing that. And that's ultimately what I want to say is thank you. Thank you to Brenda. I know you've been working tirelessly to get that budget submitted to the state. And as the whole board knows, we've been meeting every single week And that has not been easy. It is really challenging when you just don't know all of the uncertainties that are going on that might affect your budget. And I think that we've all come to a good spot with that as well too. And thank you to the subcommittees that have met. I've been able to sit in on one of those, and I've been so impressed with the leadership. I've been impressed with all of the members that have come in on that group and made comments. There are just some very amazing, giving, caring, hardworking people that we have that are working very hard to make sure that whatever the solution is for schools, that it's going to be a good one. And as a parent of 2 kids, I've taken the surveys myself. My husband has. I know that I really appreciate all of the different surveys that have gone out to community members and to parents to get their opinions and their comfort level with just different situations that are going on with the schools. And I know that as a school board and a school district, we want to continue to have those touch points and continue to give as much information to our community as we can as we get it. And yeah, it's just, I think with uncertainty and unknown times, there's some anxiety around that, but the best we can do is just continue to look at the information that we have and move forward and see where we go. And one thing that really was wonderful to hear tonight is that there are a number of things that we do know, which is that our bond projects are continuing on time, on schedule, and they look amazing. And I'm so proud of that, and really happy to see just all of the progress that's going on with that, and to see also the Met Academy, that is something that I think is, all of these things are just going to be wonderful things for our students. And I know we will end up, that's just going to be something we're going to be able to celebrate here very soon as well too. So thank you everybody for your hard work.
Thank you, Carrie. Lynn, would you like to go next?
Sure, thanks, Sandy. I wanted to apologize for missing the last board meeting. As you know, I attended graduation for my youngest son, and I just want to again thank all of the staff and teachers who helped put that together and were there for the event. It was really, really something special. And I think a lot of people were concerned that it wasn't going to be as good as, you know, a regular graduation ceremony, but it was really incredible. I know our family really thoroughly enjoyed it. And I can see a lot of things that have come out of this year for our seniors that may be lasting traditions for seniors to come. And I just want to thank everyone who helped make that day very special and make the seniors feel really appreciated. The one thing I would say is, as a parent of one of the 6 valedictorians, I'm still anxiously awaiting their speech. I haven't even seen the speech, so I'm kind of excited to see that when the video comes out. So otherwise, thanks again for all that work.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Sally Carr, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm here. I actually do not have any comments tonight. I would echo what has already been said with all the incredible work that's been done, and the thanks that go out to staff for everything that they're doing.
Thank you. And I would also echo the sentiment of congratulating all the staff for all of the work that's been going on, getting things to this point. I also want to recognize Linda Arnold and all of your years with the school district. I believe that's 34, if I heard right. And I understand that this will be your last board meeting, even though your last day is the end of the month. We will miss you, and you have been a great asset in the district for your work in HR, so appreciate that. I know you've probably served in other roles, but I wasn't necessarily around during those roles, so thank you for everything. So, alrighty.
Thank you,
With that,
Sandy.
we will
And
move
now,
certainly. Enjoy your retirement. It'll
Thank
be I know you have a beautiful backyard there to enjoy it in, and I hope you get to do some traveling eventually.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We do have an executive session planned this evening. We will leave this meeting to enter into the executive session. We do expect action to be taken, and so we will be coming back to this meeting in, I think we'll err on the side of 15 minutes, giving us plenty of time to get logged in case we have any troubles and whatnot, and then we'll come back into the regular session to take any action. So with that, I thank you all for being with us so far and for the reports and discussion items. So, yeah. So, okay, we will not adjourn, but can move to, I don't know, continue the meeting here in a few minutes. So thank you all. We'll see some of you. Yes.
Sandy, may I just say that words can't really express, and I try to avoid even talking about Linda retiring, quite honestly.
Thank you.
But Linda has been a big part of everything that's transpired during my tenure as superintendent the last 5 years. And when she indicated to me that she was going to retire, I really didn't want to listen to what she had to say. But Linda was absolutely superb in all areas of responsibility. She was a colleague, a confidant, that and a friend that I will not forget. And she is going to be very hard to replace. No question about it. We've all heard that before when people retire, but I can honestly say it's the truth. There's some big shoes to fill. So congratulations, Linda, and the best to you, and have a great life.
Thank you, Alex. And I'm not far. I'll see you all around, I'm sure. Probably come to a board meeting, but not on Zoom because, you know, I want to see people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you very much. So
bye.